What's up, guys? Welcome to the eCommerce Paradise podcast. I'm your host, Trevor Fenner. Today, I had a conversation with Ryan Garrido, who's a fellow high-ticket dropshipping entrepreneur, as well as crypto entrepreneur, and he's into lots of other things as well. So, really cool guy, really engaging conversation, and really enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoy it too. If you're first time listening to the podcast or watching the video on the YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe and get my free mini course and niches list for high ticket dropshipping at ecommerceparadise.com/free course. I'll see you in there. Yo, yo, yo.
Oh, are we on?
What's up, people? Welcome back to eCommerce Paradise. I'm with Ryan Garrido, my G, Ecom G. How you doing today? How you doing? What's good?
Does the G stand for Garrido? E-commerce Garrido?
No, it's just like my G. It's like my gangster.
Oh, okay.
OG.
Original gangster?
Yeah, that's right.
We're just listening to some Jay-Z?
That's right. Yeah, that's how we roll. We're out here in the Big Mango, they call it. You know, the New York of the East, Bangkok, Thailand.
That one's good, but the first one, what, the Big Mango?
You guys got to see this view, by the way. Check this out, you guys. Check this out.
Show 'em.
This is sick. There's like God rays happening out here and everything.
Don't sleep on Wyndham points. Don't sleep on Wyndham.
Yeah, this is a Wyndham, yeah. Let's take you on a quick condo tour. How about we do that? Give the people what they really want here.
It's messy. You can take, I mean.
All right, check it out, guys. He's got this sick-ass condo at a Wyndham here in Bangkok. And it's a loft style with a spiral staircase.
Oh, shit.
Bed up top. And then the bedroom back here. And there's a kitchen back
and
there and everything. And
and
yeah, there's a crazy like patio or balcony or whatever with the...
Oh, and the roof. We'll hit up the roof after. So you can see the roof.
Yeah, we'll do the rooftop.
When the sun goes down, the roof gets crazy because you can see the whole city lit up.
Oh, sick. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's nice.
All right.
Super nice.
Let me adjust this camera real quick. Oh man, so I've known you for like, I don't know, six years or something like that. We first met 2018.
It's been a while.
2018, right?
Yeah. I would say 2018 or 2017, probably 2018.
When was the affiliate world that you and I met and Ernest was there? Was that 2018?
Ooh, that would have been
late 2018, right?
2018. Yeah, 2018.
Okay, so we first met at, we met before that, I think. Online, right? Like we had been in touch before that.
Maybe.
Yeah. Because I remember it's like, oh yeah, what's up?
Yeah.
It's cool to meet you.
In the group.
Yeah, like group chat. Yeah.
We talked. Yeah. A little bit.
So back in the day, Ernest Epps is the man, and he, I don't know if he's still doing it, but he was teaching high ticket drop shipping. And back in the day, back in the day, 2016ish, when I first joined Dropship Lifestyle, he was one of the coaches, right? And he's just so smart, man. Like the guy's a conversion rate optimization monster and a sales monster too, right? Just like
he's a behemoth.
He's the man, bro. Like he's got so much energy, like so much positive energy.
I mean, he has lots of reasons why.
Yeah, he's got a big family. How many kids does he have? Like four kids, right?
Yeah, four
kids. Yeah. Hey, you got to hustle. You got 4 kids, right? You got to work your ass off.
He has the estate. You know what I'm saying? He has the Ernest family estate.
Yeah,
the whole property.
Virginia, right?
It's
East
beautiful.
Coast? Yeah.
He has an in-ground swimming pool. He has Lamborghini in the garage. I mean, he has the whole 9 yards.
Sick.
He's living well.
He's come a long way, man. I know. He did his thing. I mean, he did his course and sold a lot with that. I think he had one of those ClickFunnels, like $1 million funnel awards or whatever.
Really?
Yeah. Saw him. He was taking a picture with some of the other players at the time in 2019. I think it was like Kevin David. This girl, somebody else, yeah.
Well, he spoke at Affiliate World. I mean, that's his big claim to fame.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And he talked about high ticket dropshipping, you know? And everybody was like, whoa, what's this? You got Zach interested. My friend Zach Franklin, he started high ticket dropshipping. But yeah, so we've come a long way,
Tell me about it.
High ticket's been a roller coaster ride, yeah? Can you talk about your experience with high ticket dropshipping? A little bit?
What part? What part of it?
Let's start at the beginning. Yeah, how did you first get involved?
Well, I talked to Ernest. So he was traveling all over the world. So I went to high school with him.
Okay.
So I knew him from high school.
So you know him from high school. You know him from way back in the day.
Way back in the day. He was like a footballer.
Okay.
He was fit. He was a fit, like diesel football player.
Yeah.
And then we weren't like close or anything, but I knew of him. Maybe he knew of me. Maybe.
Right.
But just like, I've seen that guy before.
Okay.
That's all. He's a big dude, so if you see him, you're like, oh, that's a guy. You know. And then I saw him. We were friends on Facebook, so we connected, right? And so I'm traveling over the world, like doing a conference in Affiliate World, or like going all over. Like I guess speaking here in Affiliate World in Thailand, he was just always traveling on Facebook, right? And I also was traveling, right? So I was like, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? He's like, oh, I do high-ticket drop shipping. I sell a course. If you want to buy it, you can buy it. So I bought the course, and that's how I started.
Sick. Beautiful.
You know, and I was in the process of like getting it started for like maybe 6 months, 7 months, and then it was kind of on the back burner. Just kind of, oh, let me just do my main business, and while I have time, I'll do this separate thing. And then after about 8 months, 9 months, I started doing 30K months, 40K months.
Sick.
You know what I mean?
How did you figure out your niche? How did you find it? Were you doing a bunch of research? What was the process like?
So a lot of people, I think, overcomplicate. They turn like a really like a molehill into a mountain. Like really.
Was there some like inspiration or motivation behind the niche you chose, or was it just something that seemed like it was trendy and like you would be able to sell it?
Well, there's a few just indicators, right? Whether you're going into the market or it's seasonal, or in the market, or if you're in the peak or the valley of that product, so you want to be going into the market.
So It was trending at the time.
Trending at the time. Okay. You don't want to start a company, selling saunas if it's going to be in the middle of summer. Right? You want to maybe start in winter where they're peaking up, so you can go into the revenue.
Sure.
Right?
That's a good tip. That's a good tip. I like that.
So, and then there's all these other rules, does the market have enough search volume to justify an entire brand?
Yeah, totally.
And you have like, there's like so many, you have your checklist. So if you take any sort of course or any sort of program, you're going to have like, here's the checklist. And then each thing you check, you just go, okay, does it qualify per this benchmark, to this benchmark, to this benchmark?
Yeah, there's like search volume, how much demand there is, obviously, like competitors, how many competitors, how many suppliers.
Yeah.
So how many niches did you like go through before you found the one?
Ooh, probably 30 to 40.
Yeah.
30 to 40, something like that.
Just going through all the checklists.
Well, you do your initial research. So there's like a flow to it, right? So you're like, man, I want to start a new store. Okay, let me think about what I could do. Or I learned about, high-ticket dropshipping, just brand new. I don't know what the options are, what's possible. Let me just start listing out things that are expensive.
Yeah.
$750 or more, right? So, okay, they're expensive items. And then you have a list of maybe 10, 20 things. You're like, okay, maybe 3 of them you like. They go past the first level of due diligence, like keyword and market, all that stuff. And then you just hold those 3 in idea, and then spend the next maybe 3 weeks or 4 weeks comparing the new ideas you come up with against those 3. Right?
Yeah.
And then then you 30, 40, 30, 40, and then you have, this one makes sense. We're going in the market, it meets all the requirements, blah, 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 blah. And then it's just a no-brainer. It becomes like, that's obviously the one that I want to work in.
Did you have any personal experience with the products that you sold?
Personal?
Like,
using them?
Yeah, like selling them or using them or...
No. Selling them? Well, no.
So none at all. So you just chose it based on the research data and...
100%.
No prior experience.
No prior experience.
See, that just goes to show you guys, you don't have to choose something that you have personal experience with. That's
I never
a huge
even
plus.
considered that.
Like I always tell people, like if you can find a niche that you already have experience with using, that's a huge plus, because then you can do like reviews and stuff and just be more knowledgeable, right? But you don't have to.
I talk about the passion. If they're interested in that topic,
Okay.
right? So like you want to be something, you're going to see it all the time. You have product listings, you have the website itself, you have CRO, you have SEO. You're dealing with these products all the time. So if it's like something you have zero interest in, pool tables, and you don't like pool at all, it's like it's hard to do the daily work of the business, right? So as long as you have a passion for something, you want to learn about it, then it makes for, and everything else checks out, then it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, it just like, with high ticket products, usually it depends. There's more complicated ones, right? Like especially the electronic ones where you have like some crazy things. And then there's like less complicated, like a sofa. It's not nearly as like complex, right?
Right.
So I guess, with the more complicated ones, the person who's selling it, or at least, especially the customer support agents, right? They got to have some knowledge on how they work, or else you're going to probably get some negative reviews eventually, like, they don't know what they're doing or whatever, But yeah, so what, right? I mean, it's drop shipping when it comes down to it. You're not creating the product. You're just marketing the product and selling it.
Sure.
A different brand.
But that makes a big difference. I mean, what you're saying is important, because let's say a lot of these new age computer kind of, I don't know what you even call these sort of products. They're like, they're very low margin. Technical stuff from China, like some of these different niches. And so the margins are so low, but you have things that are really low tech. a furniture like you mentioned, right? Or like sawn like I mentioned before. They're so low tech, the profit margins are 30 to 40%, right? Compared to where you're fighting for a slim margin on some sort of like electronic.
So is that usually, it sounds like it's pretty common, like across all industries, is like the more complicated the product, the lower the margin.
Right, exactly.
Right?
There's more
It kind
hands
of
in the
seems
pot.
like that, yeah? Because furniture is like 40, 50% margin.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So you don't want to be too high tech, but it's all about finding a market which is underutilized.
Underserved.
Yeah, underserved, exactly. You know, there's so many. I'll give you one example. I'll give you one little example. So when COVID hit, my website happened to be selling party tents. So every time they had to do a COVID stand, what did you see?
Yeah.
I sold $500,000 worth of tents.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you have the products on your store, you know, that trend is kind of gone. So it's not really popular that much anymore.
COVID was a totally crazy
It just hit
time.
in a different way.
Yeah.
You know? So, but the point is though, when you have like the store, you could capitalize on all these different opportunities that come up. So you don't have to also be tied down to like just one specific brand, like kind of concept.
Yeah.
You know, so
I think there's a lot that like should be said about following trends. I think honestly, if you can try to find a long-term trend that's just getting started now and get in early, you can make so much money because you can be one of the first online dealers to partner with those new brands and everything as things take off. And sure, like some industries, they peak and then they plateau and then they start to decline and then maybe they come back, you know what I mean? Like there's always this roller coaster of trends, but you know, if you can get in early and capitalize, you know, that's the main thing. That's what they do with low ticket drop shipping, like AliExpress, Alibaba stuff. Like all you're doing is you're trying to find trendy products, things that are like memes and social media, stuff like that. People are like, you know, excited about whatever.
On a certain level.
And then you're just running ads for that product, and then you get a bunch of sales, and then it kind of dies off. It's like a really quick product lifespan, you know.
Yeah, that's an interesting point because you kind of want to avoid that in business, right? If you can.
Every product has a lifespan. Like you're hardly ever going to find a product that's going to keep lasting years and years and years. Like the company,
that's true.
Like a lot of companies just do it. Like they have to create new products season after season after season.
Looking back, my experience, there's certain products that were peaking and then died out, and then the business evolves because a lot of your revenue will come from one product, right? Sometimes 80% even upward can come from one product in some cases, right? So if that's going on and then that market for that product falls flat, then it's like, oh wait, the revenue drops 60%, 70%, right? Or one of your ad lead-ins for that product, something happened, right? So there's definitely like technical things you have to understand on maintaining the site to sort of avoid those sort of problems. But
and you just kind of have to go with the flow on that because if you're not doing the actual branding yourself and the product development, you know, the actual packaging and the fulfillment, if you don't have a direct consumer brand, you're doing drop shipping, you don't have any control over that. Like you can talk to your suppliers and like give them ideas or get ideas and brainstorm and help like, okay, like let's figure out a better way to market this product. Let's update it. Let's rebrand it, relaunch it. You know what I mean? Like, but that's just how it goes. Like, I guess businesses that are used to that already have that mindset, like have CEOs that know that and are willing to like evolve into that or adapt that kind of thing into their business, they do way better, you know?
Like, you have to go with the flow because you just don't have a choice.
Right. If you create one product like 1 year and then 5-6 years later you get the same product still, like it's probably not going to be selling as well, you know?
Well, the ultimate goal would be for this product to become a mainstay, and you add in another product and another product and another product, and they all maintain over time.
Sure.
But that's why you have to keep doing promos, marketing, email marketing to drive up those revenue numbers. You know what I mean?
And I guess it goes back to the technical side of things too. Like the more complex products are always going to have to be adapted as technology evolves. Like the less complicated, like a sofa. This sofa design probably, I mean, it might be new, but like similar design sofas were probably in existence 20 years ago. You know, like I'm sure like
table.
Maybe the materials or something, you know, could be like a new, like, I mean, back in the day, maybe they didn't have fake leather.
It's just wood. It's just wood, and then it's some,
faux leather stuff, right?
And then there's some cloth.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really it's really cheap to make.
Right?
It's really cheap.
Well, furniture is a huge industry. And by the way, I don't really recommend that any beginners get into the furniture thing with dropshipping because even though the margins are high, the problem is that you have a lot of competition.
Yeah, but think about, what about exciting ideas like arcade machines?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Those are the best.
Or just some weird, funky niche.
Something fun.
Lacrosse.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like there's something like funky or scuba diving.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's all these ideas for niches. You could become, the whole idea is to become the expert or the authority in the niche, right?
Right.
If you're the authority in the niche, then you just dominate the niche and everyone wants to compete with you.
Yeah.
And then over time, as long as you keep driving revenue, you're building up the business, right? You're growing it.
Yeah, totally.
So, I mean, it's really like, if you're a beginner, the thing is in the beginning, everyone struggles with like picking the niche, right? Like, okay, what do I want to get into? But really, it's just all about jumping in. You know, once you've done the research and you feel confident, and sometimes even when you don't feel confident, right? You just jump in, both feet, you know, and then if you're either going to win or you learn. You know what I mean? So that's just the reality
That's a
of
good
it.
way to look at it.
Right?
I like that.
So
Win
if
or
you
learn.
fail forward, if you have to, you know?
Yeah.
And then you learn, you test things, and then, I mean, because the thing is that people get stuck at the first step or like the doorway, but you got to realize there's a whole journey on the other side. So you're sitting at the front door for like a year. Do I get started? Do I not get started? You know, what makes sense? Oh, maybe it's not the right time. Maybe it is the right time, blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, you could have been halfway to Mordor. You know, if you just would have like went to the door and just kept going, then you would have been already halfway there, and you might even already have made your first sale.
Right.
I mean, once you have a site up and you run ads, you get a sale within an hour sometimes.
Yeah. The shopping ads really work good to get targeted traffic. Yeah. People are looking for that product right now. They're just looking around. Sometimes they'll see your site and they just like it, you know, and they'll just buy it, you know.
100%.
Yeah.
Especially if you have the best offer. You use like some of those special techniques, you know what I mean? Like get the, you know, and those sort of techniques.
What are some of those techniques that you've used?
The biggest one, I think is pretty well known, you know, obviously, is you just offer the free gift, right? So you take a percentage of your profit, you go to Amazon, you can click free gift, you send a free gift out, a complimentary product that goes along with that market. And then also, when it comes to the branding of the sites, when we're talking about this early phase, another thing I talk about a lot is like going towards a specific customer avatar, right? So like, for example, if you're going towards like a high level keyword, let's say, you know, scuba diving equipment, let's just use that example, right? You would know way more about scuba than I do. So I'm a novice, I'm an amateur, so I'm gonna make up some nonsense, right? But let's just say there was scuba diving equipment, then you would have like your air tank, right? And maybe that's the main product your site sells, is the air tank, right? But you have all those complementary products. You got the fins, you got the whatever
goggles.
Fish mask, you got goggles, you got all the different stuff that goes with that product, right? And some of those are necessary to buy, but are very cheap and have a high perceived value.
Yeah, it's like the package deals. You can package things together and make much higher ticket.
Or
orders.
espresso machine, or a 3D printer. That's what they came recently. A 3D printer, you need the plastic. So you give some extra plastic for free. They're going to buy the plastic anyway, right? So you take maybe 3 to 5% of your profit margin, maybe less, depending on where you want to be, and then you buy the free gift and send it out with every order. So now when they're shopping and they see all the competitors, guess who's a no-brainer? It's your site, right? Now you just have to not screw it up when they actually land on the page. You know what I'm saying? If your offer is the best one in the marketplace, when they go to Google and they see best offer, there's all the green text for the promo through the merchant center, right? Then you go to the website, they're already sold. They just want to buy it. So you just have to offer a pleasant experience. And then most people, 9 out of 10 times, are going to buy. And then you have retargeting ads, you have all these ways of bringing them back. You have email marketing to build that connection with them. I mean, it's a foolproof model. You know, the main point is making sure that just the margins, you know, you negotiate those properly with the vendors and onboarding the suppliers and managing their product inventories. And, you know, that's a lot of high level knowledge in a 3-minute segment.
So how did you go about getting your first suppliers? What was that experience like?
Do the script. Every time I've done everything on the store ever, I've literally pulled up Ernest's script and just read it.
So
I've
what
never
does the
said
script
anything
sound
not.
like?
So the script is, I have to pull it up, but the main point of it is we want to work with you on a dropship basis. So you introduce yourself, you're the lead buyer, or you're the owner, or you know whoever you are for your company. You're looking to expand your product catalog to their product line. You like to work together on a dropship basis. You're not looking for payment terms. Like to have net 30, not looking for net terms, so payment terms. You know, to prepay all of your orders. And people go, oh yeah, okay. What do I have to do? Nothing. Just take a seat back, I'll copy everything from your store, I'll take care of it, no problem. Okay, cool, go ahead. What's our margin? Oh, it's this much, okay. So you negotiate the margin.
When you were reaching out to suppliers, were like, are there bigger and smaller suppliers, most of them small businesses or like distributors?
Yeah,
or?
you get common. You got a mix, right?
Mix,
you have like diamond level, you have, you know, all the different levels. But
levels,
yeah. But the thing is that I reach out to them repeatedly. So there were vendors who I reached out into the beginning who wouldn't enroll with me. And then later, as I built up my suppliers, beggars can't be choosers in the beginning, right? So you take who you can get, whoever's available, whatever. But then actually, when you build the store up, then you can actually okay, do I want to work with that one? Do I want to work with this one? And then you reach out to them, they'll decline you, right? They're like, no. And then you reach out 6 months later, a year later. And a lot of suppliers who told me no later onboarded me. Because well, who do you work with? I work with this person, I work with this person, I work with this person. They know, the industries are small. Yeah. They know the competitors. So if they're like, I'm working with this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. They're like, oh, okay, cool, we'll onboard you. So you just build it up naturally.
So were you using references kind of to make yourself more of a warm introduction to the supplier?
Always. Yeah. Oh yeah, or ask for referrals from your current suppliers as a reference. Even that is amazing too. Yeah. But you can also just mention them in the conversation with ones that aren't references. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Just name dropping constantly.
Yeah.
That's how I got some of the biggest name suppliers in the niche.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because then they trust you more.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's the perfect way to get pretty much connections with anybody in this world is to get a referral. You know? Especially businesses. If you want to work with a big business and they have no idea who you are, it's very unlikely they're going to set up with you just right off the bat. But if they know that somebody that they know and like and trust knows, likes, and trusts you, or at least you drop the name or whatever that you're already working with that person, then they're way more likely.
1,000%. 1,000%. It's so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think that you got to be willing to just get that first supplier. You know what I mean? Some people call one guy, they're not committed, they got to call another guy, and you might get no. But when you get that one supplier that approves you, and then you can load their products, you get a few sales, they become the basis from what your business is built on. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah, you have one. Yeah. I had one major supplier I onboarded. I was on the phone with him for an hour, 2 hours, the first guy who said yes. Do you know what I mean? And then he became the most profitable item in the store for the first year as it was growing.
It's crazy.
Yeah, all from one supplier.
That's how it goes. You know, I mean, you just got to make those calls. And half the time when you make calls, they're not even going to answer the phone. Right? Or you're not going to get through. They're just not in the office, leave a message, that kind of shit. So it's you keep calling back, or emailing, calling, that kind of thing.
Calling is the best.
Yeah, of course.
Because people try to get away with emailing.
Yeah.
And even I've been guilty of it.
It works, but not as good. They get a million emails in their inbox, and they're all, a lot of them are spam, and just people. Sure. Agencies trying to get them to pay them for services or something. Who the heck are you? So.
Well, also a lot of they're businesses, right? So they're open for business. Yeah. When you call them, they're going to pick up. Do you know what I'm saying? Right. You're not calling John Smith from 21st Street.
It might be worrisome if they don't pick up, right?
That's what I'm saying. So they're going to answer the phone. It's just a matter of, can you get to the person who handles the reseller account? Yeah. Right? But someone's going to pick up. Hey, this is Sally at the front desk. You know what I mean? And you can, hey, can I transfer you just immediately ask for who handles vendors or reselling accounts, right? And they transfer you over to that person. Yeah. And then it's almost impossible to not get them on the phone. Yeah. You can leave a voicemail, whatever. You keep calling, leaving voicemails. I mean, I'll call multiple times in a week. If I think, hey, this guy is really, I want to work with him. If I haven't got him on the phone, I'll keep calling him. Do you know what I mean?
What are some of the worst experiences you've ever had with suppliers?
Well, that's a great, I don't know, man. Worst experience.
I don't know, a product is damaged, that kind of thing, or shipping damage, the customer files a chargeback and that kind of thing.
I had those tents, those party tents from the COVID time. A lot of them got damaged when they were mailed out because they're made of these hollow tubes, right? They're Chinese products, a little bit less. So they would arrive and some of them would be bent in. So they would have to give out lots of these replacement parts. But in that case, I'd work with a supplier, they would refund the customer or send it out. Okay. But the issue was when they ran out of inventory. Yeah. Right, you know what I'm saying?
A long wait time.
Right, exactly. So you have to wait for another shipment sometimes, depending on how their model is set up. Yeah. So they had to get them in that, I don't want to name them, but you might have an idea who they are, right? Yeah, yeah, of course. So I was, and that's the big thing is inventory, really, is managing the inventory. But other big issues, not really too many, because you have pretty well-established terms with the supplier. Do you know what I mean? They have the order, you get the order, you give it to the supplier, they ship it out, blind ship it. So you don't really I don't. What do
Like
you
the
think?
order process is easy. It's usually
Yeah.
the things that come after the order process, like the shipping, warranty issues, and it's just more common with more higher expensive technical products, like big electronic products, or things that are
Yes.
easily damaged in shipment.
Exactly.
You know, and like you
Exactly.
said, there can be like back orders, or there can be wait times on replacement products and things like that. And maybe the person wants to use it like that weekend for an event,
Sure.
and now they have to wait a month just to get the replacement tube to make it work. You know, like
Exactly.
and what are you going to do in the meantime? Like the only option for you to be a good retailer is to pay the supplier for another product to get shipped out, and then just like have them ship back the bad product or something, right?
Well, usually the supplier is willing to work
A
with
good supplier
Yeah,
does that.
most
Yeah,
suppliers
totally.
will.
Yeah, yeah.
The one if you're working with, you shouldn't work with overseas suppliers, right?
Right.
So if you're working with overseas suppliers, maybe they get weird. But if you're working with local, national suppliers,
Yeah.
right, and you're an authorized retailer. to
I've
resell
I've,
the
I've had
products.
experiences with like U.S.
Yeah.
suppliers that are like pretty bad too, but
Sometimes, if they have inventory,
it just depends.
usually
On
they're open.
I think a lot of times it depends on the people that work there. Like
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know.
That's true.
And like if they're having a good day or not. Sometimes it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
and I've had weird situations, especially lately in the last like 6 months to a year. I think it's because a lot of businesses are having to go through a lot of changes right now because
Mm-hmm.
of like lower than usual sales and stuff like that. And so they're changing their teams and stuff. But there'll be like lacks of customer service in certain time frames. Like they won't even write us back about a certain order for like a week or something like that, you know, like, and then we call and they don't
Yeah.
answer phone calls and stuff. And that's crazy stuff that happens, weird stuff, you know?
Yeah, I mean, every supplier is different.
I guess it depends.
It
Yeah.
really,
It- the-
it's so different because some of them are like really spot on, really there to work, and then some of them are like not, and then some of them are in the middle, and it really runs the whole
like the
gamut.
bigger ones, I feel like if their teams aren't as dedicated as the owners are, you know, like usually the people
Sure.
that the customer support level, like they have to be just as dedicated to the business as like the owners are, you know, or else it just doesn't work
I
very
try
well.
to maintain a relationship with the person who manages the resellers.
Yeah,
Do
the
you know what I
general
mean?
manager.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
general
the
manager.
GM, yeah.
So whoever I got onboarded with originally, I like to
Yeah.
maintain that relationship as much as I can. So I maintain that relationship well. Then if there's an issue, I can always follow up with them. Hey, and they'll
you
tell
check this
you.
out? Yeah.
Yeah, they'll tell you at least what's going on.
Right.
The item's not here. It's on pre-order.
And since they like you, they'll
Yeah.
take care of you.
Exactly.
Yeah, they'll be like, just do them a
Exactly.
favor, you know?
Yeah, and then another thing is I'm always renegotiating for a higher margin,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I'm part of my relationship building with the manufacturer, with like whoever handles it, whatever their title is, right? Whoever handles the reseller accounts. I'm always asking them, okay, what is the next number to get more margin, right? So I want 5 more percent, I want 10 more percent, right? So if I have a higher percentage, how much volume do I need to do in order to justify that percentage? And so they'll give you a tier. Oh, you have to do this much, right? And you have a goal to work towards, and then you're always like in the negotiation process for a higher margin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you tell them, look, the more margin you give me, the more I can give to advertising. Right, so the goal is to get more sales based on how much I'm saving on the margin for the product, right? So that's a high-end negotiation tip.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just talk about how much you've been selling, you know? Like, hey, we sold this much in this time frame. Like, why don't we make our partnership a little bit, like, you know,
Or what would be the next steps
Different.
to get there?
Yeah.
And then they'll tell you.
what's the milestone? Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So then when you hit the milestone, you go back and you say, okay.
Yeah.
Or if the milestone's unacceptable, you say, hey, we can renegotiate the milestone.
And some suppliers have that set up before you even get the account. They're like,
Right.
you sell 10 units, you're at silver pricing. You sell
Yes.
100 units, you're at gold pricing, you
Right.
know, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
And then it's like
Exactly.
a 10% additional margin or something like that.
That's,
you know?
that's major.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're talking about 10% margins on some product categories.
Yeah, that's like more free gifts you can offer, more maybe coupons, that kind of thing. You
More
can be
money,
more competitive, you know.
More money in your pocket, too.
And then
I mean,
or that too, obviously.
100%.
Because even if you have free gifts and coupons in your site, not everybody wants them. Like
Yeah.
some people don't even check the box to get the free gift or use the coupon. They just buy and that's all, and they don't care, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you have all different types of shoppers,
Yeah,
right?
totally.
You want to go after people who have a high disposable income, right? So not your, hey, I'm nickel and diming. You want the guy who's like, hey, I might want a sauna. Let me just buy one.
And you can
know,
do that, by the
whatever
way,
it is.
in Google Ads. There is a way you can like actually target those specific audiences of people
Right.
with high net worth and
Exactly.
like bid higher on that.
Yep.
Yeah, so I figured that out. I don't know how accurate it is. You know, you never
To
really know with
audiences.
Google, but I guess Google knows, like, you know,
Yeah.
through some way that the person has more money,
You're
right?
talking about audiences, right?
Yeah, it's in
Yeah.
audiences. Yeah, Google,
Yeah, yeah.
Google Ads audiences.
Audience is interesting because it's all individual verticals. You know that? They don't combine,
Right.
right? So it's very interesting. So it just means they're highlighting. So is it better to like max out audiences, or is it better to not max out audiences? Do you know what I'm saying? Because you could potentially say, I want to be targeted for these 10 to 15 different categories and audiences, right? Or you could just say, give me everything. I want to hit every vertical. And then if it's all individual, does it make a difference?
Are you talking about like optimization, or are you talking about like just setting a separate campaign for a particular audience?
I'm saying putting the audience in the high, medium priority campaign.
Okay, so when you do that, all you're going to be doing is telling Google, hey, bid a little bit higher if the person is actually in this audience and is shopping for my product.
Right, but what if you don't have enhanced CPC on? So you have a strict bid.
You're still going to give it a bid adjustment.
No, you don't have to give a bid adjustment when you do that.
No, that's how it works.
But what if you add the audience with no bid adjustment?
Well, nothing happens. Yeah,
I think they do.
There's two settings you can use with audiences. There's one setting where it only targets that audience. The other setting is where it can target the audience.
Right.
And it'll tell you the data when someone's clicked your ad is from that audience.
Right.
But then you can also set a bid adjustment up or down on that particular audience.
Right, but you can just do set zero. But then, then it will funnel some of the traffic towards that vertical.
No, it's just all it's gonna do is bid higher if somebody happens to be also in that audience. And
really?
Yeah.
I thought. Are you sure? Mm-hmm. I thought by adding an audience, it also gave some incentive just by having the audience there, even with no bid adjustment.
No.
Really? No benefit whatsoever?
Yeah, there's two different settings. So one option is like with a basic retargeting display ad.
Of course.
You have it so that it's only set to target the people that have gone to your website, right?
Yeah, of course.
Like you wouldn't want to target random people with that.
Yeah, that's
it wouldn't be retargeting.
typical retargeting.
Now the other way to do it, use audiences, is to give it the option to use it. So it's like you don't have to just target, you can target anybody, but if they happen to have been in this audience as well, show me that data, and then you can give it a bid adjustment and say, hey, bid more, bid 10, 20, 30% more if the person's got a high net worth, you know? Yeah. So you can do that, yeah.
Oh, dude, that's one of the tricky parts of running the ad account, is when you combine those bid adjustments and you have enhanced CPC on.
I don't think they do enhanced anymore. They took that feature off.
Did they do?
Yeah.
Really? It's just all manual CPC?
Yeah, now they have like target ROAS and like whatever it is. There's like automated stuff now.
Oh, but that's not like you
should not use that. Yeah, I just use manual CPC.
PMAX. Talking about PMAX.
Yeah, that's their like automated campaign where like it shoots ads out everywhere.
Sure.
Yeah, PMAX is not meant to be used by itself. It's meant to be used as like something beyond what your foundational ads are based on to get you farther reach.
Okay, so I heard this. I heard that if you run PMAX on the same account as your priority, then the PMAX will take priority and take all the traffic.
Yeah, it might. Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah.
Right.
So the way it's supposed to be run is that you set the other campaigns to high priority, and does PMAX let you set priorities? Probably not, right?
No.
Yeah,
no,
that's the problem.
I think it destroys the whole account.
Yeah.
I think you have to maintain the high, medium, low priority.
Yeah.
And maybe do a new account, maybe with PMAX.
I don't think.
Or something.
You wouldn't be able to do a new account.
Yeah, I don't think it's even worth doing.
Yeah.
They're just gonna set crazy bids. Their algorithm doesn't seem to really know.
No, it's like it's a learning thing. So they say like it goes through learning phases, but still, really what it's for is for beginners that have no idea what they're doing.
It's a black box.
Yeah, what you should do instead is learn how to do this properly, right?
For sure. You can't optimize it.
No,
so even if you get some early results, you're just stuck. You just flatline.
It doesn't tell you the thing I hate about PMAX is that it doesn't tell you the search terms people type in. So you have no idea if your ads are running for the right search terms.
It doesn't tell you anything.
Yeah, it hardly tells you anything.
You don't even know. You can't. I mean, the stuff that we're doing, you're granular. You're changing the SKU level.
Yeah.
The product level, what you want to make the bid on. Not like, just use my whole account and just show whatever you want for any price you think is okay.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the whole concept is crazy.
I think some people have success with PMAX just because like they already have such a good site setup and everything and like really good suppliers and all that. And then PMAX just already kind of like can see that and they just shoot the ads out.
You can't scale it. That's the problem.
Right.
Because
exactly.
One of the clients I was working with, I was telling you before, right? That was one of their problems. They started running those ads, and then it's like decreased or maybe increased a little bit, but then it flatlined for like 4 months, and then it started going down. And then we took that off and then re-implemented the proper campaign, and they hit over 1 million. Is that guy right? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like like that PMAX, it hits a certain point, diminishing returns, and then it just drops off.
Yep.
So it's not even worth it.
Yep.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah.
Maybe in other models, Maybe affiliate marketing is great. Maybe, I don't know. I've never been in that industry, so I don't know. But when it comes to this stuff, it's not really.
Yeah, no. The PMAX, I think, is mostly for like really small businesses that are just starting out, maybe like a direct to consumer brand.
Sure.
No idea what they're doing. Let's just show some shopping ads. And usually it's going to be targeted towards generic traffic because it's their own brand.
Right.
So it's not going to really matter. Now, when we do dropshipping, we're selling multiple brands, and we want to really target those branded search terms, those model SKU search terms. Those are the bread and butter. That's the low hanging fruit. So, but if you don't do that, if you're targeting generic search terms for like a $5,000 product, like who's going to buy a $5,000, range, kitchen range off a generic keyword? Probably very few people. So you shouldn't really be putting a lot of ad spend there, especially in the beginning.
Yeah, it's interesting. But also keep in mind that every market is different. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And price points too, by the way. Like if you're selling like a $300 product or something, generic keywords might convert great. And I had success, like a $500 product. Like we got tons of sales over the holiday season with a generic keyword for a $500 product.
That happens.
But it happens. It's like
you got to know your market.
Yeah, exactly.
That dials into like the passion, right? You have to be interested in the market.
And I think there was more factors too. Like we were one of the only dealers of that particular brand, and we were offering free gifts, and the brand wasn't.
Sure.
Like that's one of the cool ways we can stand out, besides like from Amazon and stuff. Is Amazon never offers free gifts, right?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say, man, because Amazon sometimes is cheaper. Right,
Yeah.
so you have to compete with that.
Well, if there's MAP pricing, usually not, but sometimes still, I know.
Well, yeah, sometimes it seems like it's sometimes a little bit cheaper.
Yeah.
But when you run the products on Google Shopping, there's a market of people there who are searching for products, right?
Totally.
And then sometimes you're the only guy in there selling that product category, like electric saws.
Yeah.
Who's ever thought to sell an electric saw before? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like power
Home Depot,
tools.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
And Lowe's.
exactly. Home Depot, or like, the power saws or the drills and all that sort of thing, right? Like that's a market. People sell those, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just you set up a store and you just run I don't know, man. If anyone's on the fence about starting a store or not starting a store, like, oh, is it hard, not hard? Yeah. It's like it just takes 30 minutes to get started.
It really doesn't take that much effort anymore, especially with AI, with ChatGPT.
It's crazy.
ChatGPT will write out all your pages. It'll write out all, like, you can put content all across your site that's totally optimized.
Just copy the manufacturer's content.
I mean, yeah, but now with ChatGPT, you can give that content to ChatGPT and have it rewrite it and tell it, hey, optimize it for these keywords and stuff like that. And you can have these really well laid out copyright, perfect descriptions.
Proofread it a little bit then.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, true.
Yeah,
you do have to though. It can tell like hallucinations, about the product and stuff.
Yeah. So you be careful.
Yeah, no.
You have to take responsibility. I feel like if you just copy and paste, the responsibility is
you
on
do
the
need to check it and
manufacturer.
edit it. Yeah, if you don't, you're taking a big risk for sure.
Yeah. You have to know what you're doing. In the beginning, I would just say copy the manufacturer's product descriptions.
That's probably the safest thing. If they have good, decent product descriptions. I've had manufacturers have no product descriptions, just like a list of specifications.
Yeah, I've seen that for sure.
Like,
yeah. Blue one, 32 by 24 by 73. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's fine too. Then you can make your own.
That's what I was doing. Yeah, I would just make my own. Yeah. Which is cool because it does make you stand out. Also, like in the ads and in the organics.
A lot of manufacturers are not marketing experts.
Yeah, they're
that's
product
the
development experts. I mean, they're developing, they're importing.
Exactly.
They warehouse it, they fulfill it, so they need us as dealers to help them.
That's the whole
sell
point.
The products. Totally, it is the whole point. I mean, if you ever have a supplier that comes at you and says, "Hey, we don't really find the value in our partnership," you should definitely already know the value in being a drop shipper. Like you're taking on all the risk. You're accepting the payment. The customer can file a chargeback. And if that brand themselves took the payment, then they would have to deal with that. And there's a whole customer service department and all this crazy stuff they got to deal with. And so they're taking a lot of risk off their plate, from like fraud, from chargebacks, friendly fraud.
Sure.
Product damage. They're still going to help out with that. But at least you're the one that gets the nasty call. What the heck? My product's damaged. Crazy customers and stuff.
Sure. But you just ask them, do you want more sales?
No, yeah. Bottom line, the good suppliers should already know the value. If they don't, then it's like, well, okay, they're probably being a bit greedy and they want more control and more market share, whatever. They don't want to give you the 20, 30% margin because they want to keep it themselves. A lot of brands are like that.
Yeah, but that's like a logical fallacy. That's like
totally.
You know what I'm saying? Because like if you want to get more revenue, then you need to open up the market and you have to allow people to do business.
100%.
Right? So like you just have to have vendors who give you that freedom. You can't you fire them if they suck. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if they're not doing well and you're working with a supplier, Because what you find is 80-20 rule. It's across everything. So like 20% of your suppliers provide 80% of your revenue, right? So just fire the bottom 10%. Do it every month just for fun.
Right.
Just because you can, just fire no sales from this supplier. I'm gonna just get rid of them.
Yeah, I mean,
You know?
if you spend ads on a particular supplier
Right.
and they don't get sales, what's the point of keeping them?
Right.
And you've already fully optimized. You check your competitors, and there's
Yep.
for whatever reason you're not selling them. Like there's must be some other reason. Like
Yeah, and you could spend hours and hours researching one product category to find a way to sell that thing, or you can just be okay, next.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So it depends upon what kind of business model you want to create, man. You know?
Yeah.
It's
Well, I
really-
think the really successful e-commerce people, they don't just stay with dropshipping, but they end up building their own brands. You know,
Yeah.
like let's just take the sauna thing for example. Like you have a sauna store and you're selling saunas and you're doing a ton of money or whatever, but you don't actually own the brand. So it's like anybody can start a sauna store, get the same suppliers and compete with you. It's it's not much of a moat. But if you build a brand of your own saunas, or maybe a sauna accessory or something like
White
that.
label?
Yeah, white label.
Yeah.
Your own suppliers might even be able to do that for you. You know, some suppliers, they'll get the generic product imported from China and just slap your brand on it or whatever. Maybe just put a sticker in the package or something and then, you know, that kind of thing.
One of the suppliers that I know, that was one of their big business model. You know?
Private label.
Rebranded. Yeah, private label. Yeah. So if you could do that, you're
Usually
home free.
it takes a bit of upfront investment. That's the one thing that people are afraid of, I think. You know, like it costs 5, 10, 20, 30,000 to start because you gotta invest in the branding. You gotta get the branding done first, right? You gotta get the packaging, like all the special things about your brand ready. I mean, it's a whole separate business.
Well, I wonder if you could just have the same SKU and just retitle it.
Okay, so like if you take the example of what grocery stores do, like they always have like the top name brand product, and they have like their grocery store brand next to it, and it's like cheaper.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But like people will buy the cheaper product just because like obviously it's cheaper, but it's like kind of the same thing. It's not as good, but they know it's still decently good, and they're going to save some money. So that's the kind of the what we should model. You know, it's like what people do really well with is in the private labeling world is like you have a store and you have the top name brand, and then you put your private label brand next to it.
Sure.
And it's a little bit less expensive, still decent quality. Of course that's going to do well.
Starbucks model.
Yeah.
Yeah, cannibalism a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And
so you have them right next to each other.
And that same top brand is probably the one doing the private labeling.
Yeah.
It's likely.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I mean, you can find your own supplier in Alibaba, but that's going to be a whole nother thing because you still need warehousing and fulfillment in the U.S. You still need to import it, right?
Yeah, but you could do all that branding stuff is intellectual property, so you can do it really, really cheap.
Of course,
You know what
Fiverr.
I'm saying?
I always use Fiverr.
Yeah, so you don't even have to. So it's not. I don't think the upfront costs me that much unless they force you to buy a certain amount of inventory.
That's the thing. Usually, yeah, it's the inventory.
Oh.
But if
you're doing revenue with them, I bet they'll do it for free.
If the supplier already is importing the products, right?
Yeah.
Then they'll probably be willing to import like a whole container just for your particular private label brand, warehouse it, and ship it out. You know, they'll do the warehousing for you.
It could be a licensing deal too.
Yeah, that's true. There's other
other
that's
ways
super
of doing
true though.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I mean that's definitely the way to go.
I mean, it takes more investment, but I think the long run.
I'd like to see if you can avoid that investment. There might be a way to get that investment.
There
back
probably
once
is.
you-
Yeah, for sure. Working with the suppliers, I'm sure there's probably something that they'll do where it's like print on demand style, where it's like they have the generic products in their warehouse and all they got to do is slap your label and then ship it out when you sell it.
I had one where they had the schematics. They give you the schematics, and then you can take the schematics to where you want, and they can rebuild it for you. You know,
Really?
they'll give you but they don't always do that. But sometimes they discontinued a really top selling product, and I asked them for the entire blueprint to make the product. So they gave me all of the instructions for how to make that product. So I could take it to another company and have them make the exact same product because I have the dimensions, all the measurements, all that kind of stuff. So I mean, there's really interesting things you can do, but for me, it all comes down to that passion. You got to be interested in what you're doing. You're interested in
The deeper you go, for sure.
yeah, because when you start getting nuanced and really these details, it's like you got to be at least having fun. Because if you're doing something that's not fun, then it's not fun by definition.
Yeah.
100%. So it has to be something you're really interested in. Totally. So if you have experience in it, that's great.
Right. So if you're not that passionate, but you're making money with it and you're just really good at it, why would you go deeper into it? Just chill, do the drop shipping, and maybe even just exit, have a nice exit and get into something you're more passionate about. You know what I mean? Rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're really good at business, you don't necessarily need to be passionate about the products you sell. And then all you got to do is just build scale, exit, build, scale, exit, build, scale, exit, or you can buy, scale, exit. Flipping that works too.
That's easy because you're adding value.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In this case, you're not even like creating the demand for the product. That's like the major advantage. Like that's a huge advantage, right? If you're selling an affiliate offer, and then let's just put it, because this is affiliate world, right?
Yeah.
So if you're selling an affiliate offer, and the offer is for a company that's never been heard of, or if you're selling an affiliate offer for the let's say Verizon, right, or some major company, right? Then the major company's offer by nature is going to sell better than the one for the company no one's ever heard of.
Totally.
Right? So you get to literally start day one with high authority brands.
Yeah.
Right? There's what other market can you just get the guy on the phone, hey, I'm going to work with you. All right, cool, awesome, onboard the products, and you already have all the authority.
Yeah, you just skip that entire step of product development.
If you
branding,
start an agency, you got to build up your entire brand.
Oh yeah.
You have to build up
every single client. You need to get like a whole case study, you know what I mean, and like show the proof of concept, all that stuff.
So you literally skip that entire step and go straight to just making money.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other model that I've seen that allows that. You know what I mean?
Affiliate marketing, but yeah, exactly. It's the same. Dropshipping is just like the e-commerce version of affiliate marketing. The only difference is instead of referring a customer to them, you're taking you're getting the customer, and then you're working with them for fulfillment.
Right, and then it's a real business because you have at least some ownership.
And a lot of people start with affiliate marketing, they move to dropshipping, and then a lot of people start with dropshipping and they like expand into affiliate marketing. Both business models work well together. If you have a dropship store, you can do affiliate marketing. After the sale, you can have like a whole thing. Hey, like you can go on a vacation, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
that kind of
insurance.
Thing. Or insurance,
insurance, shipping insurance. I mean, there's so many things you can sell.
Yeah, and then maybe just even accessories. Like if you don't want to drop ship the accessories, you can just refer them to Amazon to buy them.
Yeah, or warranty. I mean,
you can pitch it through email marketing, through blogging, just through like a funnel.
White glove delivery.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many upsells in the back end.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's really incredible. It's a no-brainer. It's just there's so many different ways to take it, and it depends how big do you want to make it. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. It's like, do you want to build a $5 million a year business? Do you want to build, a $300,000? Like, where is your benchmark? And that's really what it boils down to, because you can go as big as you want. You can build high, you can build long.
I mean, having a ton of revenue is awesome because you can take advantage of like credit card points and stuff like that. But also, it becomes crazy complex to deal with, like all the finances, all the organization, the bookkeeping, the keeping track of orders and stuff. You need a bigger team. Like it gets down to it. Like all of a sudden, you're past 100,000, 200, 300,000. I mean, every order you get is probably like average order value between $1,000 and $2,000, $1,500 usually on average. So that means you're getting 20 orders a month. You're doing already, what is that, $60,000 in sales or something like that, right? Sure. So you start getting to $100 orders a month, and now you're doing like a crazy amount of orders.
The emails are nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you have like one product that's charged back, that's like pushed back for delivery, it's out of stock. There's so many technical details that need to be managed.
Yeah.
So how do you manage your templates, your customer service? How do you manage your supplier relations? Is your company operating as a well-oiled machine? Do you know what's available, what's not available? Yeah. These are all questions, and as you scale up, what I've found is that the infrastructure required to make that system work becomes more expensive than the margin you get on that high revenue.
Right.
Yeah. So I felt, that it's, or here's an interesting perspective as well, just work in markets that have high margins, right? Furniture or super expensive products that no one ever thought about. Like, what about, I have an idea, I don't want to share it, but I got one that I'll share you offline.
Zach showed me one the other day that really blew my mind. What was it? Some kind of like an oxygen therapy tank or something.
Yeah, those are good. Yeah, those are good.
Like $10,000 a piece.
Yeah,
he showed me one of his clients was selling a ton of them.
Or
hyperbaric chambers, that's what they're called.
That's a whole model.
I was like, whoa.
That's a big business.
I didn't even know those things existed, but
ice plunges, cold, all that stuff.
Or that stuff, exactly.
Yep.
But so it's like really, really niche markets with a really like specific type of product. You're not going to find it at Walmart. You're not going to find it like a Home Depot. I mean, you might, but like you're going to probably have a whole list of brands they don't have, So that's the kind of ideal thing is like when people can't find those brands in other places, they're
Yeah.
going to come to your store. And if you can talk to the supplier and become like one of their main dealers, points of contact, they're going to refer you leads probably because they would rather you have deal with the customers and they just do the fulfillment, and it makes their life way easier because they're doing all the other stuff in the back end, and they'll let you do that. Those some of the best suppliers I had at those kinds of partnerships.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think it's easy to get suppliers, really. I mean, it's not hard. Once you onboard them, you know what I mean? And then it's not hard to work with them either.
Yep.
They're generally pretty easygoing. They want to, it's like you're like two guys working on a team for the same result, right? They want to process the order. You want to process the order. The customer wants to be satisfied. If there's a problem, they'll generally help as long as you're like, reasonable guy, not like a crazy dude. Other than that, they'll work with you.
Sure.
And so, you just maintain the relationship. But you want good margins on products. You have at least a reason to do business.
Yeah.
What if you're doing,
5%, 10%.
Yeah,
margins.
it's like, what am I doing? Like, I might as well be. The stock market is better returns.
It's like working a job and getting paid peanuts.
Right.
You're not going to work there too long.
Right.
You're going to quit and find a better job.
What's 6%, right? If you put in a 401k, 6% is annual.
Yeah.
So you might as well put that money in a 401k rather than run a business and it's 5% and 10%, right?
You put it in Bitcoin, bro. That grows way better.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, people. Here's a little side note about crypto. Here's a little known fact. People look at the highs, right? Yeah. The high, but look at the lows. The lows tell a much more interesting story. That every year over year, it's never gone down. The low has never gone down. Yeah. So the low has gotten higher as the high has gotten higher.
Yeah.
So
the low of the COVID 17,000 was the high of the previous halving.
That's what I'm saying.
4 years prior.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So if you look at the low, then that's a better indicator of the value of crypto, and it's clearly only increasing. Yeah. So it's like you might, if you're going to get involved in crypto, buy it now and hold it for 10 years.
Yeah, you just kind of like dollar cost average over time, or just wait till the lows. Wait till this crazy, and usually you can just follow the halving schedule. And like when the halving happens for the next year or so, it usually goes crazy high, and then it will come right back down, and then somewhere like around 2 years after the halving, it's like at its lowest point.
Yep.
And then the 2 years following, it's going to come right back up again and go crazy. Yeah.
It's trends.
It's been happening the last 4 halving cycles, which is, 16 years or whatever already.
Yep.
And it's probably going to continue to happen like that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just kind of baked into it. It's like that's what they coded. That's what they built,
Exactly right. And
with the way things are going too, with the dollar, the U.S. dollar devaluing, and the Fed printing tons of money, like there. Of course, we need another reserve asset. Gold is not enough anymore.
Let's see. I heard something about this might get flagged. Quantum. That's the new thing.
What's that?
There's this is like deep state. So I don't know if it's real or not. But there's like a quantum computing. They're gonna have a new system called quantum. It'll be the new financial system. Okay. So it'll be kind of like Chinese social credit score, kind of, in a way, but it's like based on quantum computing. So it's supposed to be a much more evolved system, but it's another, peonage, feudal lord type common, I'm not gonna get into it, but it's the same type of system is the point, right? But with crypto, in my case, I just do a lot of trading more than investing, right? But the thing about crypto is the price, or Bitcoin specifically, is the price will always go up and the price will always go down. Yeah. So you can
it's a lot more volatile.
If it's going to go up, it's going to go down. If it's down, it's going to go up. Totally. That's what's going to happen.
Just don't get caught buying at the top and holding it till the bottom and then selling it. That's the worst.
It's kind of gambling, right? Because it's like, who knows? Who knows? You could say these are predictors.
You can be a good gambler and you can be a bad gambler. It's all about being a good gambler,
Lady Luck, you want Lady Luck?
Yeah, no, you just got to know the odds, and you got to play the game right. You got to only take good odds, Right?
So fold or all in. Fold or all in.
It's all about timing, baby. It's all about timing. And
that's right.
And with trading too, like there's a lot of emotions involved, man. Like you can't escape your emotions. Like when you buy something and it goes up, it feels great, but then it goes back down. You're like you just lost like something so precious to you. It's like your own ego, it gets destroyed. So I mean, you have to learn these lessons, like trading and markets, they work based on supply and demand. You know,
Yeah.
it's like the prices move based on who's willing to buy it, who's willing to sell it, who's trying to sell it. You know what I mean? Like ceilings and floors, that kind of
Sure,
stuff.
sure.
It's basic economics, but if you can just understand where to pinpoint supply zones and buy at that point, and where to pinpoint demand zones and sell at that point, you'll do pretty well. You know?
That's more than I do. That's like candlesticks.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
doing
yeah.
Candlesticks.
Candlestick charts.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
You know. See, I don't.
Order flow, yeah.
I just buy and then I resell it like a commodity, right? So just like if it was Bitcoin was a chair or whatever, so I'll just buy it at a discount and then sell it at a premium.
Yeah, so you're doing like arbitrage.
Yeah, arbitrage.
Right, crypto arbitrage.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like dropshipping in a sense, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Dropshipping
Yeah,
crypto.
but there's no product. That's the cool
I know,
part.
you're dropshipping digital products.
Yeah, so there's no follow-up customer
Yeah.
support because it's just done.
Now, what's your average order value?
It varies
Transaction.
wildly based on currency.
Like
based
highest and
on-
lowest?
Well, I restrict most transactions on like $300.
So the top is
Most.
300.
But that's depending on the payment method. That's more of a high risk method. The methods are classified high risk, low risk, right?
Yeah.
So like a bank transfer might be low risk, but PayPal might be high risk,
Okay.
right? So there's limits on PayPal versus bank transfers.
So the money moving around in different ways changes this.
That's a payment method.
Okay.
Right. So each payment method is actually a market. It has its own liquidity, it depending on the currency, where it's being traded, right? So you can consider each payment method its own market.
Now, do you have to own the crypto before you start doing this, or do you actually you're the middleman?
You got to own it.
Okay.
You got to own it because it's in escrow.
Right.
So they open up a trade, and it's in escrow, and you finalize the details of the trade, and then you release the escrow when it's done.
Right.
So then there's like a trust on both sides.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
All right, guys, I hope you really enjoyed that podcast. Unfortunately, the podcast got cut off almost halfway through. We had a much longer conversation beyond just what we talked about, but that's okay. We're going to do part 2 later and also have a lot more conversations about various other topics that Ryan's really interested in diving into. He's a really cool guy, really engaging guy. Make sure that you follow him on his YouTube channel and his LinkedIn profile. Both are linked below in the description. And also definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel and comment below what you're interested in and what questions you have about high ticket dropshipping or any of the other topics we discussed in the podcast. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.